I can just remember being in disbelief and just shaking my head no and screaming and saying, like, maybe you have the wrong blood test, maybe you pulled somebody else's labs by mistake. I feel more love and joy since I've opened up more about my status. What I enjoyed most about doing hair is the gratification behind how people felt afterwards. They just felt so good. They felt refreshed, and I felt like it's been more rewarding to know that I've impacted my clients' lives in many ways, because I found out that they've had their own stories about family members or themselves being HIV positive. I think people take more pride in getting their hair done when they come to me than they did before. My name is Masonia. I am 28 years old, and I have been HIV positive for 4 years.
I did have a fear because I just didn't want to know. I didn't know what my life would be like post-diagnosis. I remember walking into the room, they gave me the HIV test, and it came back positive. And I just sat there, I was so numb. No tears would fall, I was emotionless. I don't remember hearing anything, I don't remember seeing anybody, I just remember internalizing this diagnosis. It was something that I kind of had to just deal with on my own because I couldn't disclose to anyone. I didn't have the language to disclose. Poetry is my safe space. I can just go into myself and just really let everything that I really don't have the language to articulate out on paper. He has love and affection, no longer a fiend to, but here's to life, here's to love, here's to getting everything you never got enough of. I want to live, and I want to be healthy, and I want to give back. I wasn't given this disease to be quiet and sit down and be non-threatening. No, I was given this disease in a way that allowed me to broadly and boldly be who I am and say that you can live and you can survive, and not only survive, but you can thrive. My name's Guy. I'm 29 years old, and I've been HIV positive for 8 years.
My partner and I, we decided to go get tested, and they took longer than, I'd expected. The lady, she had finally called my name, and she had asked me to come in there. And then she was like, do you know that you have HIV? And at that particular moment, it was like the room started literally spinning. So it was like, there's just no way, this has to be wrong. I just could not hold it in. It needed to come out one way or another. So I expressed it via music. Music's always been an outlet for me. Dealing with HIV and dealing with this has definitely changed my whole aspect of music and how I even approach a lot of different things. I want to travel across the world and not only share my music, but also share my story. I did get diagnosed with HIV, but I did not let it stop me, and I did not let it defeat me, and I'm not going to or will ever. I want to tell anybody else that has the same diagnosis that you can do it too. It does not stop where it starts. Starting is the beginning. My name is Dakota. I'm 28 years old, and I've had HIV for the last 3 years now.
Pre-diagnosis, I didn't have much of a drive or an overarching passion about what I wanted to do. And I had recently been tested. I made it a personal policy to get HIV and STD testing every 3 to 6 months. Turned out positive, so I was at my friend's house, and that was kind of a moment of brief devastation, but I was very fortunate and lucky in the fact that I had an excellent support system, and I was able to quickly rise to my feet. That day, I went into the health department and met with a social worker and connected myself with care. You hear this from a lot of people who've been diagnosed, that HIV has given them a new purpose, and it's given them a drive to go further in their lives and accomplish things that they didn't think they could, and I think that is very true in my case. Playing viola allows me to release a part of myself that sometimes gets a little too buried in day-to-day thought and processes of work. It is through and through nothing but a creative outlet. Fundamentally, we all want to go to the same place, and that is to enjoy ourselves. And I think there's something very wonderful about working with people in that environment. We're all adding different pieces of the puzzle to make something that's incredibly dynamic and interesting. My name is Devin, and I've been positive for almost 3 years.
I was in a habit of getting tested regularly, but at that time I was still young, immature, and careless like a lot of the youth are. And I felt invincible, and I thought it would never happen to me, and it did. Besides being angry at myself, I was very hopeful. I knew that there were treatments out there. Something that I want to do moving forward is continue helping those who are afraid to come out. HIV stigma is still a huge barrier when it comes to newly diagnosed people. And I know it's very scary because I've been there before. And I know that with support, it's gonna be easier moving forward. I want to be the shoulder they cry on. I want to be a hand that they hold when they go to their first appointment or when they're gonna start medication. I wanna have that conversation that I have with my peer educators and with medical providers and just give them the confidence booster that they need in order for them to get back in the horse and start their life. Hi, my name is Yuri. I'm 29 years old, and I've been HIV positive for 12 years.
I had just left a job to relocate to a new city. And as soon as I got to the new city, I was hit with the bombshell. And when they came in and gave me that news, I didn't give a response. I didn't cry, I didn't holler, I just stared. Everything, all of the emotions that you go through getting a diagnosis, because it's just like going through a grief process, because I'm grieving that life I used to know to this new life that I have to learn how to live. And I met other people that were already living with HIV, and they were thriving and welcomed me in. I facilitate to get people to memorialize their loved ones. The AIDS quilt is just a big memorial. People started putting HIV on the back burner, but we want to bring it to light that it hasn't gone anywhere, and we still need to keep researching and finding a cure. The ultimate goal that I hope we can add that last panel and say the end to AIDS. It is no more. My name is Stephanie, and I've been living with HIV for 18 years now.